Hello everyone, this is Emerge, and in this video I will be presenting to you one of the projects that I was working recently, and it's called Formula Media. A really interesting project. I really enjoyed creating, trying something new, also pushing the boundaries. I like to be challenged and create something new, and I'll be presenting to you this thing, a really beautiful Formula Media, how it goes, and with the 3D elements and GSAP integrations. And I will show you, I did the process. This is what they had. So I like to show always, if you remember, actually one of the projects that I have, it's, I don't remember the name. What is the traveling cruises and tours or something like that? Elite cruising and tours, something similar. I like to show the before and after, and you always can see how it was, how it become. Really important to see what we had and what we are presenting. And I can demonstrate here. I will be running through this website, also a little bit addressing what were the problems with this website and what we have improved and delivered and why. So let's go into this. Let's start right away. Let me go into the Figma. I work with Figma and Webflow. Figma for design, Webflow for coding. And let's go into this. So Formula Media. First of all, also, there was agreement in order to allow me to uplift a little bit the branding. Because if you will see, the old one, the old version was dark, and the pink looked like, to my eye as a professional, is kind of, I would say, blunt or not really standing out in the competitive marketplace, so to say. And that is why it's really important to look into the competition, who we have else in the market, and not to look like anyone who is in the competition. And there were actually a couple who were really close to that look and feel. But at the same time, look and see how we can stand out in their branding identity. So the thing is, you can see, for example, here, the Formula Media previous favicon, or how you call this icon next to the URL. And this is the kind of color recommendation from my side on brand identity, color and icon, that you can see that the pink, and I used to, when I check, I open all competitors in bars and tab of the browser, and I just look which attracts more, which is standing out, which you want to click. And it's also an interesting thing. That's the whole point of brand identity, to stand out, to be memorable, and to be selected in a sea of many other options for your target audience. So you can see that my focus was, and we agreed that it's better be brighter than darker. And I said if they open for experimented with a new brand identity a little bit, and they did. And I think it's a pretty good idea, because we need to stand out. We need to analyze competitors. So, and that's what I do. So what we did, we go, first of all, for the process. I'll try to give you the perspective and share with you the kind of narrative story. So the thing is, always I start with calling with my client, and we go through I call it branding therapy, business and branding therapy, with a focus on website in this case. But because we focus also on uplifting the brand identity, and that's what I do, I combine three usually things. What happens usually, my clients come to me to do the website, but then we do the brand identity also at the same time, because we communicate, we see that it's needed. And then if they have digital product, I'll do the digital product eventually, depending when they are ready. So in this case, it's a website and branding identity uplift, and the whole focus is on the website. So, and what I do, I'm really going to run quickly. So I have some references, some inspirations here. I'm not going to go zoom closer. And style-wise, also I collect some references that I liked, but also some information that I extracted from them. That's kind of the color code and the whole thing that they had. And also logo that they had, everything that they have, the idea behind the logo, really beautiful. And the whole materials that they had for themselves, and nuances that should be used, should not be used, and so on. So I have all information from them, and I have old version of the website, and I have just everything that I can get my hands on in order to have and not miss on anything, and make sure that I'm kind of putting it for the distillation and extraction of value to be applied. And then I have the kind of competitors already here. I go to the browser, I talk with my client, they give me a big list of competitors. If they know, if they don't, I will research. So then I select some good references also on content strategy that I want to follow always, and some examples of kind of quick, messy roadmap of some competitors that we see in the market to see, and that's also give the perspective. So every step that I go through allows me to make better decisions. I'm becoming kind of a medium point node as an individual, as a professional, to kind of convey the right decisions as I listen for everything that is registered for me. So then I have this process of understanding that we'll have like sitemap, simple, always really quickly sitemap on what we're going to have, which pages we're going to have. So homepage, work, studio, contact, legal parts, and case studies. That was the general direction in the beginning, and you'll see I'll show you an interesting way how to work with these things from small sitemap to the bigger one in the next page. And here I just decided really quickly to take what we have and just mess around, see what content they have, and put everything for the pages, so to say, where will go where. That's kind of messy, the first initial process that you go through, and as the scheme. Usually sitemaps, information architecture, all these content collection, and so on. And it's mainly focused for me as a sitemap architecture kind of thing. Then we go to the wireframes. So here, again, it was much more messy, but it's already organized. So I will have something for further process. Sometimes I collect, and we will not be doing the kind of work page. It will be on a home page. So now we see this. So I have basically wireframes when I go for, I think for the content strategy first, I use AI tools in order to help me with be challenged in respect to the content strategy and competitors. It's really great to follow with the AI assistants in order to have this dialogue and see what is missing. Is this the right hierarchy? Is this the right order? I'm deciding this way, that way. What do you think, so to say? And in respect to competitors, in respect to the content, in respect to what the user needs to know, so to say, as a target audience. I myself professionally for a decade already know how everything goes, but this AI tool really is giving extra layer for exact, precise decision and results to be delivered for client. I really like the way. So it's really wireframes. It's quite a big phase, to be honest. I weave that with the content strategy. Very important. I must say. So I kind of first wireframes really quickly thinking through what go after which and bullet points, what we're going to convey. I have my structure, have my questions to address from the mind of user, from the target audience user. Always, you need to understand when you talk with clients, who's the target audience, who we're talking to. And kid you not, in this case, and in many cases, I do need to kind of build the relationship and a dialogue with my client and those who decision makers to challenge their current psychological state in order to uplift their game into the right target audience that they want to serve. Because I want my clients to fit to the branding that we convey, and I want them to play the game in actually solving their clients' problems. So we need to convey that we solve those problems, and my clients need to be psychologically ready, so to say, for that that kind of how to say, once they go into the market with that kind of new brand identity, with that kind of mindset, with that kind of target audience, and present it in the website, they need to be ready to communicate with these people and feel psychologically comfortable that they can serve, they can actually fit into the service. So that's the really question, important question, psychological question, business question. So actually, when I build brand identities and websites and digital products, I'm thinking about their business. I'm thinking about your business. I'm thinking about you actually increasing in success in your business, earning more, generating revenue more, serving better clients, exact target audience, and being different in the marketplace. That is how different I am when I build these kind of tools. It's not just tools like a website or digital product brand identity. It all weaves into the marketing. It all weaves into your business success, and it all depends on your psychological preparedness, readiness. And it's beautiful to work with clients who are actually really oriented to succeed, really oriented to increase their game and actually execute and use those tools that I deliver as brand identity, websites, and digital products. Use those tools in order to assist them in success of their business. And I need that executive mindset of my clients. I need that psychological readiness, and that's the game. It's not only the tools. It's, are you ready for this, so to say? And I want to work. Please come with those who are ready for this. And it's really fun because we can really change the game and impact, do the great impact with these tools for you. Now, anyway, so let's go back to the wireframe. So this is the generic start, and then I have references. So then I build the wireframes that have become more concrete, as you know from every example that I show. And because I'm doing coding, as I like to say in Webflow, I'm not really focused on a mobile device because I know already how I'm going to build it. But I do recommend you to do mobile version even in the wireframe phase. when you begin. Let's say 5 years. If you're still in 5 years in this field, go with a mobile version building. I'm a decade in this expertise, and I know that I'll be able to build a mobile version well. But I even sometimes I think I better be doing that in advance. Sometimes I'm questioning, is this saving time or not? Sometimes it's almost the same, to be honest, because when you already build the design of wireframes, you'll be really quick in execution of coding. But if you don't, you save this time on design, and then in coding you will have to a little bit play differently. So it may be the same time consumption. So I'm still exploring, but I like to if I'm coding at the same website, I like to skip the design for mobile device. I already know, I know that this will stack vertically and they will fit. I'll make it fit because I will be controlling the code. So anyway, so I go through the wireframes really quickly. I'll show you like this, and it started to take a shape. And it's really important because every phase I'm having a discussion with my client, and I'm asking, check it out. I send the videos, I present the results, and then once the call is ready, we come prepared with my client. Client comes prepared, and then we discuss things. What's in the right order, what is not right. Maybe we want to change the numbers into the graphics, and then we have discussion. For example, in this case, for this client was this kind of numbers that increases were felt maybe fake, from his perspective, from their perspective, like the other people who do that, they think these numbers are not real. So they say, let's do graphic or something like that. Okay, I understand. And then you have a dialogue and explaining that's okay. There is a trustworthy demonstration, and you give your point. You give your point why for the business and marketing is okay to do this direction. But then if you see that the client is saying, hey, I still want to go this way, totally. Don't fall in love, guys, who designers, don't fall in love with your decisions. It is happening in your first 2-3 years maybe, but then you have to learn not to fall in love with what you create and understand that everything that you do must serve clients, focus on business and marketing. What you do must satisfy their part, and also they have to like what they see, because when you like what you see, the clients will be excited, more passionate to go and talk with other people and say, hey, I'm building this. So they have to be, you do have to also respect their subjective interests, but those subjective interests, you must be interested, not that their subjective interest must not be a problem for their objective business success. So your responsibility is to communicate that, to demonstrate that, hey, this is what you're deciding is actually, it can cause a negative effect, but they are the last to decide. And it's their choice, so to say. It's their baby, it's their business, is they decide. Your responsibility is to communicate that they can harm instead of, or maybe not be effective, not be efficient decision, but then it's them to decide. So anyways, wireframes, really cool. Again, it's not the final, it's the general decision. You'll see, for example, I'll show you this one, really interesting. In the beginning, again, the competitors, we have a lot of references. So the idea to show this kind of circle, and you'll see what different visual result that will be with a 3D model and with this kind of cards shifting. And that's beautiful when you give a designer a little bit space, and not a little bit, but good space, and trust professional, they can come up with interesting ideas. Just be patient. Here is the content strategy. An important point on the wireframes is that we're conveying the information correctly, and it's still going to be sharper and sharper. The sculpture will be more precise in detail. So anyways, we're just making sure that, and you'll see, for example, here's the case studies in the end, and in the visuals and in reality, we'll put it all the way up there because it feels right. Because, when you flow for the website, it feels like there's missing something. This feels like we're still kind of too much convincing, but we're not really showing work yet. So there was the idea to put this, and when you test, you test it and you feel it, you read the text and you feel like, well, so when am I going to see your work, so to say? It's too down below. So we brought it up. So it will be the kind of mixed between convincing, demonstrating that we're trustworthy and professional, and then showing our work, and then coming back to here we are, So it's, you test, you see what works better. And the whole thing, I will not go into the details, but that's kind of, you will see, it's interesting. Some parts you will see exactly, and some parts will be updated and refined. And it's still not responsive. And you can go on wireframes for responsive if you want to. But in some parts, for example, clicking, for sure, give the experience. I give experience of prototype for my client to go for the wireframes, to click and see how it navigates. But I'll tell you this, what I noticed really often clients find wireframes hard to navigate, to understand. And that's actually, I would say, a little bit orange or red flag, that it's important for clients to actually have someone who is responsible for the content strategy and copy. If they themselves are finding hard to understand these things, it is important to pay attention to the content as well. think about the content, think about what is written. And that's why in this case often happens to be that I'm building the content strategy. And that is the problem, because if they would understand, and I kid you not, I have clients really good, the clients who are really clear, understand what they want to convey, what text they have, what the content strategy, what the order. In fact, which I'm at the moment working on one deck for the same client that is really clear what they want with the brand identity. And I'll be presenting later that the project, really interesting. It's called Luma Art. They're really clear about brand identity, so it's really easy to build a brand identity. They're really clear on the website what they want to convey, really easy to build. They clear on the deck, really easy to build. So to be aware, when you work with clients, define if they are really clear on what they want, if they can convey, articulate, and put things into words in sequence, it will be easy for you to work with and for them. When people don't understand, and when you're actually confused and not really sure what you want to convey and so on, as a client, for example, I do recommend you to find someone who will be being focused on content strategy and copy. Yes, it's extra expenses. Yes, it's something more to involve. But without that, you are trapping yourself in more expenses, more loss, because it will be a hard process for those who build websites, digital products, branding, because they either have to do that job themselves, or they have it best if they can have some professional who you can bring them to the table so they can work together. That's what I recommend. In my case, I love to do content strategy. I like to play with the content and copy itself, but then I still need to have a good conversation with my clients to understand if this is in order, in sequence. So wireframes can be really hard for some people to understand, and I understand, but it's important to pay attention to and actually invest your attention to understand and deliver the feedback for me as a professional, for example, for other professionals, that you understand that this is the right sequence, that you agree, we need approval. It doesn't mean it's final result. Again, things change. You can change the sequence anytime. You can change the words and a little bit, but you need to kind of approve the process so we can move forward. And that requires your involvement. And that requires you to kind of understand your business. And that's why I say again, it's a different game when you play with someone who's understanding the business and know what they want. And when we do the startup, or maybe not really sure what we want, that's a little bit challenging and hard. But it's okay. We need to, again, as a professionals in a decade in this, we need to help them to understand. We need to communicate clearly, so not trap ourselves, not trap themselves, and it just requires extra expertise on your side to not to cause any trouble. So, anyways. About us, we quickly build the wireframes and contact us. So I don't go into the super details here, but this is really interesting. Something I like to build. So when I'm building wireframes, and it's quite a big, to be honest, it's quite a big work to do. You must make sure the content as well in sequence and answering on all questions that audience might be asking. So I like this new way of presenting. So sitemap 2, for example, aesthetically well presented. You can see from home, we will not be doing work. We'll not be having a page for the work. It will be in the home page, and there'll be no case studies, so to say, because they don't have that much to say there. It's enough just to give a card of explaining that. So I have about, contact, and deal. That's the structure. And when we come here, user flow, for example, I have user flow, home and about. And I think with this really interesting sequence, this is so you can see the sitemap, user flow, and site architecture. So it's kind of going deeper and explaining. So home, for example, I trust you, I see proof, I understand how you work, show me real work examples. Okay, now tell me cost, engagement. Kind of sequence that I'm expecting from user to have. So I need to make sure that it'll be flowing through the website and covering those, right? The way of thinking happening in the mind of the user. And here's about also, who are these people and should I trust them? Where have these people learned their craft? So this is what I want to also answer. And then we go to the site architecture, and this is the kind of sequence of sections of the website that is starting to be clear. So I say, okay, first we would want to establish authority and relatability. So I will not go into the every reading, but it's like hero section and an impression and a positioning, right? We want to impress with the hero and position what we stand for, so they understand, so they want to scroll further. Market trust signals. Logos, Stripe, that's the idea. We need to generate whether we trust is always good. So, you think through like identity, workflow videos, category, frame. So it's like, what I'm going to put there and why? And like pain reality is kind of keywords 4 slides of relatable pain for CMOs and decision makers. So you see, you have a sense, you have a content strategies. It takes time for you to think about it, and specifically for their target audience, and specifically for the competitive marketplace and their business goals. And again, the psychology, how much they're ready, how much they understand, who's the target audience actually. So you have to question those things, and that's the expertise. It's not just website. You need to understand. It's not just we need a website. No, you need what is the website? Is the advertisement? Is a digital advertisement is engage in the engaging format. It's not not in a newspaper printed, and that must be selling. It's a marketing, right? It's sales and promotion and sales. That's what it is. It's marketing, and it must be speaking to a specific person, right? Who needs to have their pain solved, and you're the only X factor gain for them should be, and you should know why you, not someone else. So you see, that's what you have to pay, so to say. That's what you professionally have to find, so that your website actually plays a big role in your business. And other thing I'll be showing to you in this specifically project, I'll show you. You can check actually another video that I was evaluating Haptic and website, and another, what was the name, Unbound, 2 websites that I presented. Specifically, I'm pointing out that there are websites that are over complex and there are websites that are over simple, and you have to find a balance. And this website, for example, Formula Media, it's quite complex. And I will say you be careful not to invest too much resources into such level. Only ones in their case is correct, because they will not be updating the website over the years. They didn't have a product to sell, like Polestar, for example, cars, automobiles, or any product. So if you're actually going to be constantly updating your website, be careful with your resources, not to do over complex websites, which is cool, but be aware of your resources also. In their case, it's okay if you have one shot and you update your website rarely. Do that complex stuff, and it's really impressive. You stand out in the market. So that's also another recommendation. So anyways, what do? We go from authority, reliability, then we go to the proof and trust, then we go with the method and services, and then we go to the commercial model and closure. So kind of there's a structure that have pockets, and those pockets have a sequence of sections in a website. That's how I build this thing while building the wireframes, and using also AI tools in order to assist me for thinking. And AI tool already, the thread start to collect the understanding of the context, and then become more helpful within time. Now that was quite a long presentation of wireframes. I really like it. So that's the professional. I will say this: the further I go in time, the more time I start to spend on first in wireframes and content strategy before we go to the visuals. It becomes quite a big phase these days. Back in times, kind of I didn't waste much time on these things. But these days it started to be quite a big phase. Let's go to the visuals. But the visuals, you see how clean it is, but actually it was really messy. A lot of versions. For example, I was presenting 4 or 5 versions to my client to decide in respect to the style. The big focus on this website was to consider if they are ready to uplift their brand identity. And I do recommend, I was constantly stressing on that, on the point of updating and bringing more accent and differentiation, new colors, and totally looking differently than anyone else, and be kind of trendy a little bit also towards the novel look and feel and flavor. And it was, of course, it's stressful for them because it's a baby and they need to change their mind. If you look at Apple or any other tools, when they bring something totally new, it's hard for us to get used to. But then within time, you start to get used to these things, and it's actually made sense why they did it that way. It was still UX friendly and in the right fit. So I have these assets you can see. So I updated logo. Logo also was, you must respect the chemistry sequence. There's a reason behind every line. So I kind of brought it back to the adrenaline and favicon, web clip, and this kind of covers really also. So I uplifted logo a little bit. It looks pro, and color code. You can see the new color tone and brand name without the icon options, the assets, or the nav bar of logos, and these different assets that I have that I use on the website. Really smart way to work. You must do these variables using easy to change later in time, and imagery extraction if I need to. So this is the clean version that I have. Although there was messy, different experimentation, but I'm showing the final results. I'm not using here 3D models. It's another phase that this is the first project that I'm playing for the 3D models, and there will be another phase for me to play with. I will be using Spline. I'll not be going into the Spline to show you how I did it. I'll show you only result, but I start to play with Spline and I really like the results. So I had an idea, a lot of big list of icons from Pinterest which I think 3D models we could use, and a lot of stuff you can create with these, just about how much you can be committed, how much your time is purchased. You can play and experiment with a lot of stuff. And amazing, crazy, beautiful things you can, different variations create. But again, it's a question how much you are committed to the project. I always try to do my best in the commitment purchased. So here's like, again, also not full. Like if you go into the preview mode, for example, this gradient will be much more effective. But I'm presenting these gradients and register in Figma. You register the fonts, you register the color code, new color code. It's beautiful, unique, and this is the old version, for example, right? They were not really standing out that much. But anyways, so you see how it started to take shape, and these will be changing. You'll see this like every phase we refine. It's not good. We have feedback. We communicate. This wasn't a good idea with colors, with photos, with images. There's a lot of work to be done with assets, for example. For assets, clients must get the proper fitting assets of videos, photography, case studies, all this stuff. And here also really beautiful. And you start to see kind of unique, gradient and color code. And there'll be updates you'll see in the real world. So we're putting everything together here. Case studies, for example, they'll be quicker than later. And we'll play. And here's the idea with this circular. It'll be clicking and it'll be like cards sliding, and there'll be 3D models. So you have to kind of have a forward mind thinking, imagining that there'll be 3D model. What kind of 3D model? So it's not that as easy as you think. So you are in a known stage. Of course, I have references, putting here references, but eventually you still play with things, and it's really beautiful idea. I'll explain to you the 3D model idea behind it, that it has a narrative there. And these will be updated also. Just color is not good, so you'll see this is kind of, in the Webflow will be better decisions. And again, that's the thing with the GSAP, also responsiveness, with a slow motion, a scroll, and like when you play with the responsiveness, you'll see and that's again, every project different. For this project, for example, I left GSAP and 3D modeling towards the Webflow coding, and I didn't decide it totally on the design yet, but I have an idea, right? I have a direction, I understand. So there's kind of faith might be present also. Tiers and so on. And I'll tell you this also, be careful with optimization. That a lot of work needs to be done in order for performance and optimization, because it can be glitching slow. And I'll tell you, I'll get to the point in Webflow. I will be going to the stores to check on different devices, on big screens, small screens, to get a feedback and correct them. It's a big job, honestly, to make sure, like big screen, for example, some things I want to look differently in responsiveness. So I needed to, it's a not small work. It's really massive work to be done. It really needs a good attention with such a professional high level, and it's a really good project. It really needed a lot of work to reach that degree. This is fiction reference photos and videos. They will have to upload their own. This is the kind of placeholders and direction what they need to present. Logos, I think, real. Logo types are true. And there's kind of underlines, color. Really cool, really beautiful. If you look at this, a lot of text though. Can be minimized, but you can see how different style and pleasant it is. It's not dark, it's not the pink that doesn't stand out. And we tried different. We tried their pink, we tried different colors. I had version for their version also, but I found that not standing out. I found that not being unique, and this is the way where you have to either say, okay, let's go with the version that they really want to stay with the last brand identity, or you have to have dialogue and discussion. You have to have more perspectives, but you need two decision makers to talk with them. It's really important. All decision makers to be involved into the process to make the right decisions. So yeah, let's go into the presentation. This is visuals. This is really good. You can see there, and there'll be a couple changes. Of course, this is the tiers they can choose. The clients updates again. Even you see, like for example, pricing and time. I will improve that look and feel on the Webflow, and that's again why I like to do even even in Webflow, there's big changes, because when you play with that, with responsiveness, and when you play with the flow and scroll, you experience that how it is, and you want to make changes. So even those changes happens during the coding phase. And in this project, quite a lot was done there, and it's okay. It's correct with me. Okay, and that was presentation. Let's go into this. So this is what we had before. Let me refresh what they have there. So it's kind of appearing, and they have a video on top. I would say totally not really not passing a lot of professional trustworthy parameters of measure. The video quality is not good. The pixelated look and feel, the distancing between text, the hierarchy, the size of text, the highlight text disturbing actually instead of actually helping. These things are not noticeable that they change. Are they change? I don't know. And yeah, they change. Orange, why orange? Something that they don't have in brand identity. The texting, for example, also the alignment to the center and the sequence, it's the readability, a lot of nuances that and a lot of text. People, I'll tell you this, commonly the big problem is to overwhelm a website with a lot of information, not really paying attention that these days, especially people, the further in time, we don't have that much attention. Attention span is such a short. So the flow of the content must be capturing. And thinking about mobile device also right away, and mobile device, they'll stack vertically anyways. So keep it simple, the flow. For example, here, the big distancing and five versions, a lot of text, it's not encouraging for me to read, and the accent between them is not clear. So, and the capital letters is making hard to read, and icons must speak also clearly. So a lot of problem with the hierarchy and the sequence. So I don't read as a user. I don't even know where to start, what to read, who they are, what they do, and too many text. I'm not really encouraged to read. And what is this? So a lot of questions. So many things happening and appearing. And these things are necessary and so on, and the sizing of the icon. So clearly you can see that they needed a help. They needed a new version, new work. Maybe also this logo is too big and the menus on top is too massive, but doesn't really give much. Work, for example, let's go. Work goes to the work, and there'll be video, and then I cannot sign in. I cannot play video in Vimeo for some reason. The contact, a lot of motion in the background are necessary. It doesn't look professional, to really. Let me see, contact always goes down. Okay, service doesn't go there, and I think because service is connected to the main page. Let me go about. Even here is quite slow to load. It needs uplift. It needs professional look and feel. Too much text, too much noise, too much unnecessary information, and unprofessional look and feel. So let me go back to the main one and services. I think if you click services, yeah, it scrolls here. So if they, for example, on about page, and I click services, it doesn't go anywhere. So it should be taking them back to the home page and scroll down to the services, or this page should be separate. So, and that's another conversation was, with the clients, that how to position the service, and that's there in respect to the problem solution. And that's, again, to understand what they actually convey and deliver to their clients is important to communicate to the pain of the CMOs and decision makers. And here was more like too much tools oriented and broken down services that, and it's a question how you want to position yourself. And I do recommend to position yourself as problem solver. So that's also was a quite interesting conversation. So let's go into the new website that I built. Let me refresh that. And it is way to improve much more, make it better, play and experiment, different 3D models, maybe backgrounds. Let me refresh that. So how it goes, it loads Formula Media, it gives a percentage, it goes down and gives this kind of transition and GSEP response. So I have this menu. You can see that I can, and this is scrolling. This is the scrolling part, and this is the page part. And you can see that the arrow moves. This is also arrow moves and fills in. New color codes, new play, and this is really interesting. Formula Media, check this out. This is a new world. I think it says New World Media for brand building the future. It's kind of the cube. It's like that's the Formula Media, the 100%, and what is inside, so to say. And you can scroll. You can click it if you want to, and I'm gonna go down to the text, or you can just go yourself, right? So you scroll. Before, my idea was to engage. You can actually make this 3D model. You can click and turn it around. But it was too much, I decided to simplify. And when you scroll, you can see it opens and the text of Formula Media appears. Really unusual, and it gives a perspective turn. It opens up and you remain curious. What is this? Is this the formula? So that's the Formula Media. And you can see the logo there. And you cannot see it. If you go up, you cannot fully see it. So you're remaining curious and I'll be picking. So it's opening up, and this kind of formula that is inside, and you'll see later what happens. So This is interesting. This model is made in Spline platform and integrated through the Webflow by me, and played really interesting what you can build with these things. You can keep on playing, unbelievable. So GSEP also responsiveness with Webflow. You can see how the text is bending beautifully. It comes out from the bottom, formula media, together with a 3D model. There's quite a lot of work, and you can check it on mobile device, on the desktop. On mobile device, the GSEP will be simplified, and that's what I'm talking about. The performance and optimization is the key here. When you're using 3D models and a lot of GSEP, the trouble is that it will take a load of performance optimization. You will need to simplify things. So my recommendation: do not overwhelm too much. Sometimes here will be like changing color to background and so on, and a website becomes too long also. So I was challenged to optimize the performance. So even under the consideration to simplify things with my client, like for example, I don't know what to do about 3D model. Maybe we should actually, if we want to even more optimize, we can actually bring this as a GIF or as the video playing on a loop. But then there will be no this amazing response when you scroll down. It could, but it will be not turning. So there's a lot of limitations. So it's beautiful to have the 3D model itself there integrated from Spline. And that's the thing, you have to compromise. Maybe make a website shorter and actually create a separate work page in order to sustain that optimization. So a lot of consideration should be addressed on that side. So be aware. When you want a fancy, cool, interactive, responsive website, understand that it's also a question of optimization and responsiveness on every screen, and if every device can handle this. When I was going to the shop actually to check on different devices, even on not really good performing machines, computers, they were relatively challenged. And color codes, it's interesting. You'll see that not every machine will represent the same color code, especially those are the cheaper ones. We're not focusing on the cheaper ones. My main focus is the Mac and better machines. But generally, you understand that not everyone is going to experience what you will love them to experience. And it's out of your control already. This is something you can't control what machines going to buy, what computers they're going to buy, and what phones they're going to buy. That's also out of your control. But you check, you see, the smaller screens, the bigger screens, massive screens. I did a good job on making sure that even iMac 27-inch or whatever the size is, amazing to see on the big screens how it looks like. Tablets and the phones was really important to check. So what do we have here? Formula Media, New World Media for brand building the future. Really beautiful, really well, and it keeps you compelling and curious. So as you scroll down and you see this filling in the text, I try my best to make it on the right time, and the drama word that they had, and then we go to the video that they'll be clicking and playing. Then we have these trustworthy, and you can see smooth kind of scrolling effect that we have here. Also played with that, how much to make that smooth or not. Here we have the line of the trust of brands. That video also you can see it's kind of sliding out seamlessly. And the text, beautiful. And then we go further. So you see it's appearing kind of from nowhere. Opacity and so on. That has its, you see the dot becomes kind of brand identity. You can see when highlight text is pink. Beautiful. You can see this interactive kind of thing. You can click it and scroll down to the dark mode already. But you can give yourself that experience. I'm not going to go and address every nuance, but you can see how smooth transition that is. That was also quite a work to do, relatively, if you know how to do it well. You can see how smooth it is from white to black. Nav bar especially was something to do. So here, we will go to an images they have to replace. They can replace those, more relatable. This is my placeholders. And so we go here, and it's going to go horizontally. You can see slightly the images actually kind of parallax kind of effect having, and the text, this is the pain point, so to say. We relate with the pain, right? So we here impress, we say what we are. There's a video, a trustworthiness that they want. Watching video will help really clear. This is okay, you're already kind of going to the understanding who we're talking to. So here we'll talk about the pain, so the decision, the pressure, we relate with them. And then you go for each, the signal, the future, and the alignment. And then you'll go back to the white. And it'll scroll you down here. And again, we understand your world really beautifully. So here's also coming in, and here you can, scroll horizontally. If you want to, you can just scroll like that. And this is kind of we understand your world. So there's different categories. You can hover over health and wellness, for example, AI and technology. And then we just also have to be replaced by them. You can see also this pulsating dot that's indicating that we are in action to this kind of interesting element. Beautiful, future-oriented, clean, unique, competitive. And these images are references. You can see how glass glassy transparent frost effect it has. And you test everything on a different screens, and you must make sure that it's friendly. You can see the button also. This is a really interesting effect. Filling in the icon and just moving like that. It's not necessarily, I was considering doing that. I was trying my best not to overdo things, and this was really cool. And you can see how it moves with the color and it slides in. But again, even that is quite a work to do, and be careful not to overwhelm with optimization performance. Ready to remove guesswork from growth decisions. Again, content strategy, they need to check the copy because some of them might sound a little bit AI generated. And again, the better if they have specific and special person who is responsible for copy and content strategy. And you can see here, for example, proof. I'm going to click proof. Going to take me here. And again, on every device, I made sure it scrolls exactly correctly. Got a work to do. Work. We go to the work. They'll go all the way down. I'm not going to go. So you can actually go quickly. Like I want to see what services that they have. I want to see what work they did. Right, services is really cool. We'll get there. And this is really cool. I will show you. Engagement, that's the pricing, so to say, the work. So it's quick, actually. That's what I like. Everything is in one place, and it's really professionally. Even if you see black and white, also responsive. Proof. We'll run proof with you. Just go down. It's easy to navigate, really quick. And let's go further. Here we start to talk about testimonials. So here's like we're proving the trustworthiness, right? We show what categories. So for example, maybe they are in sustainability and climate. Maybe they are in finances and wealth. Maybe they are in health and wellness. So let's see Laura Mipsum. So I'll be filling in the text, and it's beautiful to relate with them. So okay, actually I'm curious. We're in health and wellness. I want to contact, or I want to learn more. So let's say, okay, ready to remove gas? Well, and then you read the testimonials, so to say, and you can read those testimonials. The idea here is to give the quote. Brand of who gives the testimonial, and the video you click, and it'll play the video. That's the idea. Beautifully done. So you relate with pain, CMOs and decision makers. What's the common problem that they have? You need to think how they think, because they're responsible. They're part of the business, so they have their responsibilities and the demands set on their head. So you need to kind of give them a sense of ease and understanding that they can trust you. And we understand their fields. If you're in health and wellness, for example, and we know your pain, we know how you think, we want to solve it. These are the brands that we work with. These are the videos and general presentation, drama word, and so on. Just like, okay, that's good. They know me. And I read testimonials, and then we give this again trustworthiness. Again, you can see how it transitions from beige to white, and underline all this, every element. You can see JSAP, how it flows, everything, and continuously. It's not once, it's like continuously. You can up and down, up and down. So you have that flow experience, and usually it takes you lose even, where am I? What's going to happen next? You can see, wow, it holds you. So these are numbers, pilot, always on, campaign, lifetime value. We're talking about what to show, the year, what kind of parameters of the graphics we want to show. But it's generally what to expect with their service as the marketing, so to see what to expect an increase and how it goes, so say in years. And again, there were different decisions. It's their choice to go with this one, and I go with this. Then we reveal the graphic, the trustworthiness. So it's also something to nail. This responsiveness, how it slides and so on. It reveals the column, like, okay, well, it's abrupting your monotonous expectation, and like, okay, cool. And I play with different colors, what to give here. I like this gradient. Gradient's really hard to nail, especially when you transitioning between transitioning between black and white. It's something not easy. So, and it's image, you have to optimize the imagery, for performance to be well. So here is also trustworthiness, start a conversation. You can see this button, visible, doesn't move. And I thought, well, maybe I should make it static everywhere. Maybe I'm overdoing things, but it's okay. I'm playing with different things. So really beautiful color gradient. And again, the brand identity to update the clean, beautiful, unique tone. Here you go, like gradient. This was quite something, because on every screen you have to be the same, and this gradient tone, so they have to transition like that. And I wouldn't recommend to do this. It's quite a lot of work if you think about it. But once you know better and better, I would go with a single color. That's why it's easy to go with single color transition than with gradient transition. There's less kind of testing needed, because on bigger screens, smaller screens, the gradients might not match. So anyways, how beautiful. Look, again, with transition, it appears as if we're submerging to the black dot to show the work. You can see when the work is dark from the proof. We came from proof of trustworthiness and demonstration and relatability with the pain and the category niche we come to the work to show you what we do, how the formula works in the real world. And here is the case studies, 4 case studies that you cannot enter. So the idea is in the future, if they will want to, with the new projects, once they'll have more to say, more to prove, they can actually click the card and go to the work CMS kind of page template. But here you can see how they will stack, and they will change the image. The logo is right. The parameters, the content they have to make sure. So there's challenge, shift, result, and what they did to this brand. The image must be changed, and you can see how it pops up. And then they stack, and they go in a depth. And you can see even background, the blurriness background is moving as a parallax, making this feeling of depth. And you can see how it goes back and on top of each other, and they reveal and they go. You see blurry background, the same as a card name, and then they disappear. And then the text again appears, and then the highlight appears. This is really unusual if you think about it. So to say, every step keeps you unexpectedly surprised, and you want to experience this website again and again. So let's continue. And we're in a dark kind of tone, like we're submerged. And how we approach, you see again, it's a GSAP, like it appears kind of from nowhere. Opacity increases, and then we bring the light, and then we have these interesting steps. Like it's how we approach media before execution. You can see how it moves. It comes in like this 5 cards, and you can hover over them and read. Clarity before scale, signal before activity, structure before optimization, consistency before acceleration, and capability before hype. That, we'd use AI without hype kind of thing. Icons can be created to each image also. So the thing about imagery, the thing about iconography, and text is to evaluate for them. And so it's in the process. Start a conversation, always call to action everywhere. And this is also I like the Diary of a CEO. So my recommendation for these clients to go like this is a reference. You see the quote. I think it's important to show yourself a little bit. So we show the work, we show the trust and everything, and then we show the real case studies right away, and then we show ourselves a little bit humans. We need to show who we are standing behind. It's important. I like the idea of showing the founder with a couple other people positive, trustworthy, in that tone of professional, kind of clean approach with a quote on this. And you can see again, we go from the grade to the gradient. It's really beautiful from opacity. You really need to nail it, like the right moment to make it beautiful. So it's unusual experience. It really took a lot of time for me to make this amazing experience. And I would say for next project, I would try to make it simple, even more than that. It's interesting. It was impressive to work with this. So here we come to our formula behind consistent media performance. So this is really interesting. These cards, check this out. So you have this kind of sense of, and this is what it was inside of the cube. So you actually, and there's inside of another formula. So it's like idea of, hey, we're revealing the cube. Inside of the cube case, we remove the case, we remove the cube itself, lids, and then we have this kind of formula media, and this inside the formula itself. So it's idea, and here's like kind of 5 steps how we go about it. So now you can slide them. And ideally also, I could make it, I didn't really already committed myself to the point, but it's enough to click these things. And again, on mobile device and big screens must be well responsive, but the point is you could slide them also, drag and slide, but it's okay. So, you shift between them and read. It's kind of a sequence of what to expect, how we work on this, how they work on this, on the process of and just points to know what they cover. And then we go here, it's also beautiful. Before I had other decisions here, but it's like, we go here again, it appears, and here we see how it comes into the view, and then we have this sticky, and we see, also I could do the clicking, but it's okay. So you can see like, this is the service. So my recommendation was to give the service based on the product strategic clarity, performance control, creative that performs, and predictable scaling. So it's like, it depends what CMOs and their business needs. So based on those 4 categories, or maybe everything, they can choose how Formula Media wants to solve the problem in marketing. And that's what I gave. Also images to update, icons to think about. So they need to find their assets. So this client, we agreed that they will have to apply proper assets of imagery and videography themselves. And I will assist with my eye if they need to, if they can, in commitment. So you see how they move like backwards. It's also quite a job to do, gives this unusual motion. And mobile devices have different experience a little bit, of course, because it's a screen limitation. And call to action is really important. So you can see how it changes, right? The dot appears and opacity changes to each category. And again, check on ARV responsive screen if that is matching. Okay, let's continue. This is also was important. In the beginning, I thought not to, but client said it's important. So integrated channel ecosystem. So here is like what ecosystem they provide, kind of do their media service. They can do, and they say it's really important. So I give different categories that they want, and they can shift between them, and they'll be integrating the right logos that are most important to be featured. And finally, we come to the engagement ways we work together. Really beautiful. You can see how all the cards comes in, and they have the free tiers, most popular. You can see hover over also happens, and they come in, and the background also becomes blurry. And this, you see, that's what I mentioned. You see, I changed, and the design was like kind of small pricing. Here I did all pricing with time, and you hover over the card, it pops up, and you can click any. The color code was really well used for the differentiation for user to be curious to read. Also really important. This is why these introductions of new colors is a key. And so you can see that the new color code for this brand is a black and only one pink. We have this kind of plum. We have this pink. We have this beige, beautiful beige. White is dominating, kind of silver white. A black is appearing, of course. They have different gradients backgrounds. And here we have these three colors of gradients. Really beautiful, really unique. Partnership questions, really also beautiful thing to build. You can see how you hover over and the arrows and the text moves, you click and you read the text. Then we go down, it's the final one. This is always every page ends like that, built for an environment like yours. So you can click on that, you can just scroll in, you can see it's stuck and it goes back and the card appears, comes out like a perspective. So when you scroll it, you still can read, right? You to read, just tag the stick here, it's sticky. And then we come here, and this is the formula inside of the circle of the cube that we had. Beautiful element. Again, not too overwhelm, trying to keep it simple because website optimization is also important. This is a final card for call to action. And then I have these slides. This is like kind of must be on the kind of case studies demonstration, and this slide must be on the office demonstration. And these are references for them. Really beautiful to end. And you see how the footer opens out from here, and we see this beauty. You can see when hold over underline. Really interesting to make call contact, and these beige with pink color, really beautiful, unusual, rare. And this arrow up, everything, every detail. You can find me here, created by Ailey Merge, which is, let me go to the LinkedIn. You can find me here, Ailey Merge. This is my profile. I built that website. Everything you see here, from brand identity uplift to the website to the what is to the whole thing. Let me go up, and coding. Beautifully done. So we go to about us. So when you transition between them, this appears. We come in and we have this cube again, and here you can interact. You can click, you can turn. I didn't allow to turn it around, so you actually can click it. So we can open it up, and you can see this, and you can, let me see if I can, maybe I can click it. No. Yeah, it should be opening the golden element also, but it's not in this case. It's okay. Anyways, when you scroll, and again, like this is about us page. Again, team, founder, vision. You can see again this interesting, beautiful. You can scroll down, and I removed on the line these things. Kind of we have swash kind of things. We remove them. It's too much detail. So you scroll and you see this crazy quick opening, and you can engage with that. I think maybe here, yeah, we can click this, and you can see this element that we have there. So you can click and it's going to close itself. Really beautiful things that you can explore yourself. And you see this parallax kind of moving when you scroll down. Really interesting effect. Here again, text reveals, keeping it more simple. Here's the image of them. Again, trustworthiness, the founder references. This is the reference for founder to make this kind of direction image. The quotation, the video, another one more about office inside. The text appearing about the vision and vision. Beautifully also, and then we come back to the same thing, and the whole thing of everything is taking them to the contact us. And here you can see, so you put the form. So the point is, here you are, you see the home and about. For example, if we go to home, I'm gonna load again, and when we go to the home, again, this is the scrolling part, and this is the pages part. So about us, again, scrolling part, pages. start a conversation. Everything takes them to start a conversation. So here the point is you can choose a foundation, for example. If you don't remember, you can just scroll down and check it out. What was the difference? So foundation, maximizer, optimizer. So actually I want to be omnipresent. If you actually click that, because we're already in Contact Us, it will take you up. So I want to be omnipresent. And then you put your information, the whole thing that you want, and you send. You also can contact and start with an interview. You can schedule a call. You can reach out via email. And you can see this a little bit update. Before I wanted to do the color of the box, but now not. White is better, too much colors. That was really beautiful. And I'd like to add this on the Contact Us, this extra, again, tiers, just in case, and questions, so to closure. And privacy policy, I like to do that also beautifully. And let me see, it's still on brand. You can see the scroll is happening again. At the end, we can go to the Contact Us. Let's start a conversation again, and everything have to take them to conversation. Again, they can go on these. So that's it. That's all I wanted to present it. I'm really happy. How, think about it. It's impressive. Let me go here while it's loading. What it was, how it was, all right, and what it became. Totally professional look and feel. There's space to improve. Maybe it may be good idea to split, for example, website to the work page, but I like to keep everything in one place, and especially when it's not monotonous and really abrupting your monotony and keeping you curious to explore and to read the whole thing. Feel free to explore it if you want to. That's it. I wanted to present this work to you. I hope you enjoy this. Check it out. And if you're curious, of course, I will be happy to help your project, your brand, your business to reach the same level. And I'm enjoying to be challenged. This project really challenged me with responsiveness and 3D modeling. Challenged in a good way. Challenged, I like to play with something new. So the further I go, the more I play. And I would like to build something more like that. That's it. That was A-Lou Merch with you. Have a good one and continue.